We just got home from running some errands this morning, grabbing some stuff from Home Depot, and came home to this. That's our indoor cat stuck in a tree, outdoors. I guess we gotta block the doggy door now.
Oh, little Felix.
I was hoping that the cats would learn how to use the dog doors and they could just do their own thing and go in and out. But not yet. Not till after Monday. We have been under attack. Well, the birds have. So a couple weeks ago, maybe even a month ago, the neighbors started messaging asking if we were losing birds, and at the time we weren't, but they were losing a duck a night or so. I guess I think they had some chickens too. They were kind of going here and there, and then one night they all got wiped out. Everything was killed. They put out a live trap and stuff like that and never had any success with it, which kind of told us that we were going to be next. At the time, we were kind of in and out. We were going camping. We had, church summer camp. We had work. We had all the normal things, and we hadn't had any issues with birds disappearing in a while. So we hadn't really had like a actual count on everybody. We knew we had 4 guineas and we had 7 ducks, and we had like 15-ish birds and 1 rooster. So they started disappearing, but we didn't really realize it. And we were just kind of keeping our ear out for being attacked. The guineas are great at notifying us when something's out here that they don't like. So when the vultures come around, when the crows come around, the crows will come in and eat the eggs in the coop. They'll start alarming, and so it's actually loud enough, and the coop's close to our room, that it'll wake us up. So I got woken up, saw that something was trying to get in the coop but didn't get in the coop, and by the time we came outside it was gone. A few more days go by, we actually found a giant snake in the coop, which then explained why none of the birds were roosting in the coop anymore. They're roosting on the deck, they're roosting on my toolbox, they're roosting anywhere else other than the coop. Middle of the night, we're asleep, guineas start going off, and Brittany was able to come out here and catch the raccoon in the coop. So we were able to get rid of that problem. Unfortunately, killed a bunch of stuff. So we're down to 2 ducks from 7, 3 guineas from 4, and I think we only have like 7 birds left. We have a rooster and like 5 to 7 chickens. Like I said, they're not roosting in the coop at night, so it's hard to tell. Holding feed, for 12 hours or so, and then feeding them in the coop, and everybody comes running. They all go in the coop, and then I lock them in the coop for 3 to 5 days. They've got food, water, and shelter and all that, so I just lock them in the coop, and then they get used to being in the coop. It also helps them forces them to lay in the nesting boxes, I've noticed, instead of around the property. So after 3 to 5 days, maybe a week, sometimes longer, once they've been stuck in their coop, then I let them out and they start free ranging, and then they continue to use the nesting boxes instead of wherever around the yard. So we need to do that again, but instead of doing that with this coop, I think we're going to make a bunch of changes. The goats have just been out doing their own thing for quite some time. Instead of reinforcing the pen that they refuse to stay in, once they've kind of figured out how to escape, they're pretty much going to do it all the time. They are bigger now, so I bet if I locked them in, they couldn't squeeze out where they were squeezing out. This little girl in front was the worst culprit. So we've got this triangular pin out here. They've got shade. We've got the new goat barn that we built and all that stuff. So I get rid of this coop, move the birds into that barn, and then move the goats and all this fencing up to the top of the property. So we have a bunch of cedars up there that like a bunch of cedar overgrowth. There's another pasture, and there's some oaks, and it's already all fenced. So I'm pretty interested in getting the goats fenced up on the top part of the property, so they'll stop being right here all in our business and, you know, trying to climb on the deck and breaking all of this stuff. That's a new hole right there. They just smashed through all that underneath there, so that all needs to get repaired. Trying to get them in a whole different area. Then they love to eat the cedars. You can see all the cedars in their pen are dead. They ate all the bark off of them, and then that kills them, which would be great. I'd love to get rid of a bunch of the cedar that's up on the top of the property. So this goat pen that we made, we like went off of our main fence, like that's the property line fence, kind of come across diagonal. Brittany wanted to keep that tree out of it, so they didn't mess with that. Put a 12-foot gate right here, and then a people gate right there, and then that's the other fence we added in. So I was able to actually repurpose a bunch of the cedars that we had cut down. So the neighbors had an auger, and I was able to dig down for here, that pole and that pole, and then all the way down this line, which isn't very straight. I shouldn't show you this angle, but all the way down here, all of those were used like a post hole auger, dug them down, and then just buried the cedars in there, and it's been working good. Honestly, the goats get out over there along the property line fence. So take down all this fence, move the goats up to the top of the property, turn the goat barn into the new chicken coop, and then you saw those, I have that pile there. That was to put the waters for the goats up high so that the ducks can't get into it, because the ducks will wreck any fresh water that you have. So it's kind of fallen, you know, the goats play on it and jump around. It needs to be rebuilt, but I think I'm gonna actually repurpose those pallets and get some more from work to build a new like shelter, like goat shelter, up on the top of the property where the goats, then they'll have their shelter, their water. I'll move this hay feeder that Brittany built up there, and they'll be all set up on the top of the property so we can get all this back. As you saw in some previous videos, like right here is where all the water, like this is our little lake, all of this, all the dead area basically is where the water sits the most. Well, because the water sits over the fence, it's all coming off now. So the staples we used worked great until they sat in water. So like the whole fence all the way down is coming detached from sitting underwater. You know, the staples just rusted away from sitting underwater for so long. So I have come through and used some nails and stuff to try and put the fence back on, but that's just like another weakness. I mean, you can see there the whole fence is come off. I could reattach it, you know, what have you, but ultimately I'd love to turn this area here where the water rests, like settles anyways, into kind of like a retention pond. So it all settles right here, and then it winds up flowing like right over here. It flows into the neighbor's yard, and then like this little front corner, and then it crosses the road and goes down to the river. So getting all this out of here and kind of leveling the front, digging this down to where it's actually going to catch water, and we can control where the water is. So we'll have, you know, 4-foot deep area that's a small area instead of, you know, 1 foot to 6 inches deep across the whole yard. That'll be much better. A little bit of water control basically. So then we'll get all this pasture back too, because we'll take all that fence down. This little barn we built just out of pallets also. So like they're all the way over the roof. It's kind of like that Quonset hut shape, if you will, for that. These little plates, which we use like poor wood, but that's what we had laying around, so that's what we used. And able to put the sides, and then put the top, and then put the very top, and they all like push on each other and spread out. it kind of settled a little bit. So then I came through and I put these metal stakes in over here, which worked great. This banner I got from work fit pretty dang well all the way around the outside, and it's super durable. It's made for outdoor and all that. Close off that hole back there, put some large squares, and do the hardware cloth, the 1/4 inch, this stuff here, hardware cloth, or 1/4 by 1/4 mesh, so that it'll breathe through there. We're gonna need to take the front down. Obviously we don't need this big mesh. I'm gonna close all this in, so there'll be lots of airflow, because even if we close in the back, we got the tarp closing that off. This very front corner is open. The very front corner is open, and then even with the whole front blocked and the back blocked, all the air will be able to flow through here. So the cool air will be able to come in, the hot air will be able to escape out these little, you know, all this little, these little spots, these little gaps up there. The air will still be able to flow. So the birds will be plenty warm or cold, depending on the season. I think it'll work out really well. We just need to put in nesting boxes. So you can see in the coop here, we haven't gotten eggs in a little while, and the birds have laid a good little chunk. Rooster running around, and some of our birds have hatched their own eggs before. We actually had these same 2 nesting boxes. We had a couple broody hens that were just laying on the eggs, and it went well until like towards the end. I think snakes got in, smaller snakes got in and were eating the eggs. Some of the crows, a couple times the coop door had been left open, so then with the door wide open, the crows can get in, they chase the birds off the nest, and then they eat the eggs and stuff. So we wound up only hatching, well, none actually. We wound up hatching none. At the very end, the birds even abandoned the nests, and there was, you know, nothing hatched. So all at the same time, our ducks had a whole bunch, a big old clutch, and they hatched 7 more. So we had 14 ducks, but I actually sold those to a coworker. So we just had the 7 until we lost them all, and we only have 2. But with those 2 clutches that are in there, today we just purchased a incubator for ourselves. So we had borrowed one before from some friends and hatched our own birds and everything, and that was great. But now we have our own incubator. There were birds. Well, there's two hens that were in there trying to lay on them, but the dog's out here scared them off. So instead of tossing those eggs or getting rid of those eggs or letting, you know, nature do it, since we're so short on birds, we got an incubator. We're gonna try and hatch them ourselves. So hopefully they're fertile eggs, and they'll actually hatch, because that'll be sweet to get another 12 chickens or so, since we lost so many. Right here is the automatic opener for the coop, so the crows can't get in through that door. It closes at dusk on its own, and then opens at sunrise on its own, which is super awesome. It's solar powered. It was just an Amazon special. It was fairly affordable, and it's seemingly durable. I do not take care of it. It's very discolored. Just kind of installed it and let it go. It's been working great. It keeps everything out, basically. Where the raccoon had gotten in, obviously snakes can go through the chicken wire, but the raccoon, there's a couple of like weak spots in the back on the other side from here, the coop, and they've opened it up. We've had like some weak spots here that we've repaired and things like that. We got it sealed back up at the moment. When we built this coop, I had ordered chicken wire from Amazon. It was affordable, because this was a affordable coop build. We even utilized materials that were here when we bought the property, hence the appearance. So this wire is actually big. Like, I can, you know, chicken wire is normally pretty small. This is huge holes, so snakes can definitely get in. Chicks can get out. So that's why we have this little like brooder, basically. This is all the 1/4 by 1/4 mesh. It's got our waters and feeders and stuff. So the roof is broken because the goats were jumping on top of it trying to get in to get the chicken feed. But right now we don't have any babies. This is where we keep the babies. So we can put heat lamps in there. We can keep them, close to the big coop, close to the big birds. We access it through the top, which has been great. And then over there, we can open and close that so we can start letting the babies out, let the big birds in, and then kind of get used to each other, going back and forth, and then they all just coexist out here. That's probably way too much talking and a very long explanation for the problems we're having with the birds and the goats and what we're gonna do about it. But we're actually not doing any of that today. Today, we're gonna work on this. We had a windstorm come through and blow those panels out. I just need to put them back in. I think that the goats, well, I know that the goats started trying to go underneath there. So those cinder blocks that were there have moved. There's a piece of wood to help hold it together. It's kind of been a problem area since we moved in. I put a board up here to hold the tops in, but now the bottoms have blown out. So I'm gonna fix all that. Gonna take care of all this overgrowth. Over here, all this stuff is all grown in all around this. There's actually like a little rock edge you can't even see. That's how overgrown everything is. So I got some 30% vinegar and some what is it, orange peel oil, something to that effect, some citrus oil. So we picked this up this morning, the 30% vinegar. Oh, it happens to be orange scent. I've had this for a long time. Like I said, I've been doing this for a while. Orange oil. We also put some dish soap in there. This is just some leftover from previous, which is really old. But we're gonna make a new one. I think since this is so large, I'm just gonna go with all of it. We're gonna put the whole gallon of vinegar. We'll do a couple tablespoons, maybe half a cup of the orange oil, and then the rest with water. Got this pumped up and we're just gonna go for it, start spraying. Just make sure that everything's got a good coating on it. Everything that I want to dye has a good coating on it anyway. I think I'm gonna try and just define the rocks, like get this little rock spot separated from the growth, and then get the house separated from the growth. Then at least it'll look a little bit like on purpose, not just overgrown and crazy. This stuff is already dying. It's pretty dark in color. That mixture works so good. Here's a good, you can see where it's actually brown and green back behind it. Where it got sprayed and where it didn't. So some of these stronger plants, they won't die right away, but this small leafy stuff just, it cannot handle all that acid, which is good. I like to see the results. That's pretty awesome that it works so quick. All the way down here, the rest of these like hardier plants and bigger plants and stuff, they'll come around it. All right, got all the weeds sprayed in the front. Came to the back. We have this, used to be part of the dog run all along here, but we've since put up this gate here at the top of the stairs, so now the goats can't get up on the porch and the dog can't get off of the porch. So the dog run is just on the other side now, that way we can come in and out, because once we put this fence up right here, the only way we could get off the porch was all the way back there by the barbecue, and then you have to come all the way across this hill right here and then down over here to get to this side of the house. So found to work when in close quarters. So obviously tying a chain to the bottom of the T-post and ripping it out with a truck is super awesome, but pretty crazy and violent. So same idea, put 2 or 3 loops around the bottom of the T-post, run it over my floor jack, a couple blocks of wood on the end, and then I got it hooked back to the back of the floor jack, so it's fighting against itself. Leaving the only thing left to happen is the T-post to come out of the ground. Let's see. And there it goes. It's actually coming right out. Chain slipping right now. The other one you saw, I had to reset and get the last of it, but see how far we can go with this one. That far, apparently. Well, let's see. Some of these were leftover. Some of these T-posts, that is, were like leftover and reused. So this could be one like that other one I pulled out that doesn't even have the little plate. Oh, it does. And the fence is over the plate. There we go. All right, and right out. I found that to work the best. Just floor jacking some chain. I'm going to remove the T-post from the fence and the wood sticks that you saw also, but it would be easiest. So the wood sticks that are in there, like to help stabilize the fence, I stapled them in. So take a little bit to get them out, and then the T-posts, mostly use the wire, like the fencing itself to attach it. So it's on there pretty darn good. We're just gonna keep rolling with it. All right, completely out. Now we can let the tension off. This whole thing all come apart, clean up. We got this fence out. I think that's gonna do it for the day. Sun's on its way down. I can smell dinner's cooking inside. So I'm just gonna clean up the tools that we got out right here. Pull the fence out of the way a little bit. Actually, I might roll it up because I don't want if I leave it on the ground, all the vegetation will start growing into it. So I'll probably lay it down, roll it up, put it out of the way. Just spent the better part of 3-4 hours almost cutting grass, just running the mower over there. There's one of the trees, the tree by the goat pen, that's just like the branches hang too low, catch me in the head, and tries to take my hat off and my glasses and stuff. So I got the Sawzall out, the battery powered Sawzall with the pruning blade, and took a bunch of it down. But there's two specific branches that I can't reach. I need to get the pole saw going again. So I don't know if you guys saw it very well last time, but here it is bent. I'm just gonna whack it with a hammer, to be honest. Let's see if it works. All right, it's got a wave in it. I think it's kind of got like a zigzag there. It didn't bend right back in the same place. I guess it's only got a zigzag on this side. I think it worked. We'll put it all back together and we'll find out. Chainsaw worked good. I just hammered it a couple times, kind of got it straight. As you saw, took it out there to that tree, got those couple branches, went ahead and grabbed chopped a couple more just to get it up off the ground a little. That way I can mow underneath it real easy. But I also wanted to show you all this dead vegetation right here all around the rocks. Now the rocks are actually sticking out. That vinegar and orange spray works wonders. It killed everything, even the plants that were not showing that they were going to die yesterday. They were still green and all that. Totally dead. Now we can see all our rocks. While I was out here mowing, I found our 4th guinea. She's hiding back there. It's a good spot. She's got a hole. When I was driving by, there was actually 2 guineas sitting there, and I could see eggs in between them. So I'm not going to collect those and put them in the incubator, but cool that I found where the nest is so we can find out how many she's hatching and how many extra guineas we'll have.